If you are looking for heat-tolerant flowers, my friend, you have come to the right place. I was just driving home from filming a segment with Dig in the Yard. Brian Lloyd of Olson's Greenhouse, he has a segment on Studio 5 about heat-tolerant flowers, and I wanted to come show you some of the ones I love, and we'll talk about the ones he mentioned as well. I'm too short for my tripod. Can you see this beautiful Lantana behind me? This is one of the annuals that he talked about. I absolutely love Lantana. I have it growing in my yard every year. Roots, I believe it's heat and drought tolerant for me. It can take the heat, and the roots, when I pulled it out last year, you could see how they were just reaching to my drip lines. The roots were as long as I am tall, because when I planted this in my yard, I just hand watered it for the first little bit until it got established, and then the roots stretched out and just went for the droop line naturally. But I got distracted. We're actually looking for blanket flower, or gaillardia. How do you pronounce it? I never seem to get these quite right. But there's a couple different things that I wanted to show you. So we're talking about 6 perennials and then 6 annuals, and we're starting with the perennials first. This store clearly loves them because I could only find one blanket flower in the entire store. Now this is part of the SpinTop series, and SpinTop, for me, I grow SpinTop mango. This one is not mango. Mango is all yellow, and mine does crazy well. Now, one of the things that I have learned about working with Olson's and talking about the different flowers that they grow for Home Depot and Walmart stores, sometimes Costco, is I have a video with Matt, and Matt, who's their VP of Horticultural Operations, was talking to me about how they really look for flowers and they trial them in their trial gardens that rise above the spent blooms. So you can see on this plant, there's some little spent blooms right here. SpinTop spent blooms are one of the cutest ones that you can find. Now this one, there's a SpinTop that's a little bit more trumpet shaped on the petals, and that's kind of a newer version, I think. Matt was telling me in my perennials video about how cool that one is, because you can see a hint of the blues and greens in the shadows underneath the flower. Tick seed is next up on our list of heat tolerant perennials, and whoever is naming these should get an award. This one is called Solana, and it's a pretty kind of a double look, very clean, beautiful yellow. But this one is called Moon Swirl. Moon Swirl is like, there's not too many of them in bloom just yet. There's a whole bunch budded up, ready to pop open. They like to ship them to the stores right like this, where you can enjoy most of the blooms in your own garden. But Moon Swirl, that's an awesome name. This one's called Andiamo. Has a beautiful hint of red down in the middle. And Bengal Tiger takes the cake for best name of a Coreopsis or tick seed. Look how cool that one is. And my store even has the Uptick right now. And Uptick is one of the ones I talked with Matt in that video about new perennials coming out to Home Depot. Has a beautiful yellow, red, yellow color scheme on this one. It's very striking for your garden. Next on the list is Echinacea. Personal favorite of mine. This one is the Sun Seekers Red. This one does really great in high UV, high elevation, and again, high heat, just like we're talking about in the video. It can handle the heat, it loves it. I was mildly offended when in the segment Brian said something about petunias not loving the heat. It was like, my favorite child. It's okay. And my store also has the double scoop, and the double scoop has like a very thick rounded top. I got to go see these in Chicago last year, and I have one that Seth Reed from Blooms All Summer video, Seth gave me one, and I cut it all back and shoved it in my suitcase, and that's one I have growing in my garden right now. This is the Sombrero series, and something that's really special about the Sombreros is the amount of blooms that they have on each plant. So if you want a ton of blooms, look for the Sombrero series, because that is part of what they are bred for. They have lots of beautiful yellow ones in my store. These are the beautiful yellow coneflower Echinacea. Down here, it will actually tell you the name type. So this is the Sombrero, and right here it will tell you who it's grown by. These are grown by Olson's. We love them. You can actually find me on their Instagram channel too. And here's some more of that Uptick Coreopsis tick seed that Matt was talking about coming out in Home Depot stores. That's a beautiful flower head. And it blooms for a really long time as far as perennials go. Up next is Shasta Daisy. This cute one is called Sweet Daisy, and it has a very ruffly appearance. And you can see on this one, that one comes with a free ladybug. They're doing great in the heat. My daisies look incredible right now. So if you have a lot of heat in the summer, Shasta daisies are one to look for. Next up on the list is garden phlox, or Phlox paniculata. And they have kind of a reddish, let's see if this is different. This one's called Flame. They're both called Flame, but one is kind of, I wonder if it's just more red when it opens or if they're slightly different. But this one's kind of got a little more white to the purple. I really like garden phlox because it gives you more height in the garden, which I always need. I seem to like somewhat short flowers, and so the phlox is a great one for me. I like the way that the leaves come up in the springtime, so most of mine is going to bloom probably next week. I have a few spots that are really hot and dry that are blooming already, but they look just kind of like this when they first come out, and I put them in a mixed container with a couple other things, and so it just had a little bit more tall greenery, kind of like this, up in the back, and it looks really pretty together. But the way it blooms, it's just so pretty. This one says it's called Early Purple Eye. So the pink, the more hot pink one, looks like it's called Early Purple Eye. Let's see what this softer pink, also called Early Purple Eye. Rudbeckia is next on the list, or Black-Eyed Susan. And she is a blooming machine. If you've ever grown this one, loves the heat. My personal favorite, style-wise, is Green-Eyed Susan. And I don't know if it's quite as heat tolerant as the Black-Eyed Susan, but I just think it's really cute and unusual when it has the green eye. If I can find one this year, I'm gonna plant some Green-Eyed Susan. But the Black-Eyed Susan is just so cheerful and fun. And this is another one that gives you good height as well. I just found some beautiful Shasta daisies in these pots. Look at that, it's crazy. These ones are called Lucille Grace. And that wraps up top 6 heat loving perennials. So now we're gonna move on to annuals, which I really love the annuals too. I love that annuals will just keep flowering for you. Here's one that I'm growing for the first time this year. This is Celosia. It does fantastic in the heat. I have friends in Arizona that love this plant because it can take those crazy hot temperatures that they get in Arizona. It's supposed to be 101 today here in Utah, and it's toasty. And it doesn't look like the store that I'm in has received any portulaca yet. This is a succulent type plant, and when it blooms, it always reminds me of Easter eggs. I don't know why, or confetti. It is the most colorful, bloom-filled plant. And at night, the flowers will close up and then they'll open again in the morning. Now, if you're having problems with the portulaca not blooming, I just learned today on the TV segment from Brian that it could be getting overwatered, and that might be why it's not blooming. So maybe look into that because it's a succulent. It doesn't like to be overwatered, and it can take the heat. Lantana is next on the list. I absolutely love growing this plant. I planted a bunch of these in my flower beds a little while ago because they've had them in my area for at least a couple of weeks now. I'm always smelling it because some of them smell really citrusy, but Lantana can definitely handle the sun. If you get it established early enough, mine's not even on drip lines, and I can see it just running for the drip line. The roots underneath, when I pull them up in the fall, I can see how long they are, and it's crazy. It was actually really, I don't want to say difficult to pull it out, but it wasn't easy to pull it out in the springtime. I left it there all winter, and I probably won't be doing that again. I think I'm gonna pull it in the fall. I thought it would be easier to pull it in the spring, and it wasn't. It has quite the root system on Lantana. I can testify to that one. And I love the hanging baskets that they have of it. I'm redoing some of my front porch planters, and I might put something like this in it. I don't really have a yellow-orange color scheme going up there, so we'll see. I kind of have my eye on some dahlias. The heart wants what the heart wants. Ooh, but this one has pink. That's very cute. I just love Lantana. Brian actually recommended it to me last summer, and I had never grown it before except for in pots. And I really loved planting this in beds. And my Home Depot stores seem to carry it in a couple different sizes, which has been really nice because if you're planting it in the ground, sometimes you want a nice big root ball like this, and sometimes you just want a small one earlier in the spring. I like to dig small holes, so I like the small root ball. And that brings us to my personal favorite, which is zinnias. I love zinnias. There's so many things to love about zinnias. The flowers are cute. There's kind of a stacked double type of zinnia. This is the little single zinnia, and it's in a nice small 4-pack to plant it or stick it into the edge of your planters. But let me show you the thing I really love about it is, hang on. One of my most favorite design elements of zinnias is the fact that even the buds look like they have little ink drawings of scallops on them. And for whatever reason, I think that's adorable and I absolutely love them. I even love, as the blooms are opening, I think they're super cute. And then when they're fully open and blooming, they have this little tiny daisy flower on top of the petals. I just love all the stages of zinnias, so they're one of my most favorite flowers to grow of all time. And the more that you deadhead them, the more that they will bloom. Just like any other annual or perennial, if you go to the time to deadhead it, you'll just get more flowers. But you don't really have to deadhead it. More zinnias. These are my absolute favorite zinnias. They have the big, double, huge blooms on these ones. And I particularly love a warm pink. So this one's one of my favorites. They also have a really fun batch of mixed yellows and oranges. So you have kind of the warm pink and then you have the orange yellow combo, which is also really fun. Maybe I should put some of these in my planters. I love the height of these, particularly in my vegetable gardens, because I can still see my tomatoes and some of my other things and keep up on harvesting my produce so it doesn't get out of control. This has been a really great one for me to add. Next up on our list of heat-loving flowers in the annuals is the Sunfinity sunflower. Now this one, I'm actually really thinking about putting these in my porch planters because you can see how much height you get on that. It's a great thriller as a central plant in your planters, and I saw some of the trail gardens that had these and I thought it was really beautiful. I've grown Sunfinity quite a few times and they have a double Sunfinity that's also very striking. It's kind of yellow on yellow blooms, and it bloomed, it says over 100 plus blooms, and that is very true. I definitely had that experience growing mine last year, but these just look so fall. I think I should do those. These are some of those smaller sized Lantanas that I was telling you about in these cute little Nature's Nutrients packs. Small hole, can give you a big plant just from the genetics of the plant. I love that. My garden mentor, Haiti, told me she always buys things with a small root ball because she doesn't like digging holes. And it has stuck with me for 16 years. And that brings us to the last one on our list, which is Vinca. Now, I also owe Brian for introducing me to this plant because when I saw the photos of it on TikTok in his yard, I was like, I need to grow that. I've never grown that. And I've grown it ever since. So Vinca has the advantage of blooming as much as, let's say, a wave petunia. It's gonna bloom, bloom, bloom. It's gonna get a little bit taller, but it doesn't have the pest problems that petunias can have. So the budworm caterpillars and things like that aren't gonna be bothering this plant. And boy, can it take the heat. I think you could grow this on the surface of the sun and it would be just fine. So these are the cute little 4-packs. I love those. They're so easy to take a skinny little shovel and just pop it in somewhere in your yard. And then they also have the larger ones right here. I always forget what this container size is called. Is it a quart? Is it a pint? I don't know. Nobody knows. I call it medium. And I really love the light pink with the dark red center. I think it's cute. Like even from far away, look how cute that is from far away. I think this white, pink, red mix is really unusual and fun too. The white pops in the evenings and then the red is gonna pop during the day. And then the pink with the red center really ties together the red and pink combo. But I'm a red and pink combo person anyway. I might try it next year in my garden. I might do the whole backyard red and pink next year. This one's not on the list, but I just have to show it to you because the pink daisy is one of my faves. Let's see what the actual name is. Garvinia Gerber daisy. I've grown these the last couple years and I don't have any growing in my garden this year because I was trying a bunch of new things. I love it. But I need to know if you are growing or if you have grown Dragon's Breath Celosia, because this one's branded. I feel like there's something really special. I think it's because the leaves are red and the bloom is red too. I don't know quite how I would design this in my own yard, but if you grow it, tell me what you plant with it, because I am intrigued and I would like to know. Maybe I'll try and figure out something to plant with it. It's kind of pinky. It could go with a pinky purple color scheme. You can make that work. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to see you. I would love to hear from you, especially. YouTube has been really fun for me getting to know people. It's a little different than other social media platforms. So let me know what you're thinking and what you're growing. I am going to walk around and shop a little bit more because I've unalived a couple pots of plants. Unintentionally, drip lines got kicked off by someone. No one seems to know who, but someone kicked some drip lines off. So I'm gonna go shopping for that and I will see you next time.